All right, I think I'm in as, I think it's the wrong link.
All right.
Can you hear me?
I can definitely hear you now. I thought I actually unmuted myself, so I was talking there for a second.
I was sitting here talking to myself because I clicked on participants and it's showing me, oh yeah, as a panelist. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you're on as a panelist, which is perfect, and we've got about 30 people on already, a bit early. So we're just gonna get set up here, everybody, and then we'll wait until 2 p.m. to actually start. But we've got everybody on here now, so we're.
Can you turn my video on?
Yeah, why don't you turn
because I can't start.
Oh, one sec. Video more.
Look at all these early birds.
Yeah, typically everybody's a little bit late. Can you? Okay,
Let me turn my video on. I should be able to do it now. You don't like that picture? You can't start the video because the host has stopped it.
Oh, let me then. I don't know. Let me one sec. Hide non-video participants. One sec, Mark. How do I make it so that? Video settings. So let's see. So when you try to enable your video, it says the host has stopped it?
Correct.
Okay.
You can't start your video because the host has stopped it.
Make host, change role. Maybe it's inside the settings. Let me do the settings, webinar. Panelists, video on. Host on, save. Okay, try now.
Nope.
Can you try?
Let me, I'm in my video settings. It's showing me on my video settings,
Okay.
But it won't let me do anything because you have to do it from your end.
Can you try this? Try exiting and then coming back in.
That might work. Okay.
Okay.
So I said exit.
And Jama, looks like you've messaged. That's awesome. You can hear us, which is perfect. We're just getting a few things in order here, guys, and then we will start by 2 p.m. for sure.
Yeah, we
I can see you now. Awesome.
We love glitches.
Yes, it's always good to have technology glitches, so that's awesome. This is actually a setting that I disabled inside of
I was wondering if it was in the actual setting of the webinar itself.
Yeah, definitely was. So I tested out a couple things before we got on. I did a live Facebook feed onto our AgentLocator page, which worked perfectly. And then I also tested, there's an option on when you share your screen, there's an option where you can specify share computer audio as well. In that way, you can actually hear any computer audio that your computer, the participants can actually also hear, as well as the attendees and everybody else.
So even if I put my AirPods in, they'll be able to hear both sides of the conversation?
Yeah, I tested it out. I tested it out with a couple other people on where they were on the headset, and we actually even popped the dialer open or even played a video. Anything that plays in your browser or anywhere in your computer, the participants would be able to hear when you share your screen and you specify that you want to have them hear computer audio as well.
And I don't have to log back out and log back in?
No, what you would do there is if you want to do a quick test. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Let's do a quick test because I just want to make sure.
Perfect. So I stopped sharing, and so Marina, just to answer your question, we cannot see you. You guys can see us, but we cannot see you. We've turned the videos off for all the attendees, so we can't actually see you guys, but you guys can see us. Okay.
Okay, so I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah. Now, one thing, if you actually go back to the share screen, if you stop sharing screen, there's a little option that I'll tell you what it is.
Let
So
me
if you stop sharing, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta find that panel again.
Okay. It always hides.
Yes. All right. So let me exit. Well, what happens if you go full screen?
Hmm.
Okay, so
Goes
stop
away.
share.
Yeah. So now when you press start sharing again, before you select which screen, there's a little bar at the bottom that says there's a checkbox, share computer
Share
audio.
computer sound.
Yeah, that's it. If you check that, then any call that you make or any sounds that are playing off of your computer, the attendees are going to be able to hear. So even if you have a video playing in the background, they will be able to hear it.
Oh, fantastic. Okay,
Yep. Awesome.
that's easy enough. You got that.
Yeah. So we've got that part. Let me get this set up.
Yeah, you can reshare your screen.
Okay.
And on your screen, you should be able to, beside the chat where it says more, it should give you a Facebook option.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that where you can feed to Facebook.
Mhm.
So I'm going to do that actually. I'm going to set that up right now so that we can feed that directly to
Well,
Facebook.
once we go live, you'll do it because it gives
Yeah.
it actually stops it for a second, and then there's a little bit of a delay. So
Right,
you
right.
can't really watch Facebook and this at the same time because it'll mess with your head.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I'm gonna make. Let's actually see. I need to make Ria. Ria, are you? Let's see if she's actually in here because then she can help some of the participants that are asking questions. So I'm going to I'm going to promote her to panelist. How do I actually? Ria, are you able to chat with the other attendees there so we can actually answer their, or you can see all their questions? Um, if you want to Skype me, Ria, just to let me know that. And I need to send a couple of invites. Okay, so the website. Let me find.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a way in here that you can, like, like in GoToMeeting, you can be private until you actually want to activate the meeting. I haven't figured that piece out yet either.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is just goes automatically. Everybody can hear us talk.
Mhm.
Right. And I just need to send a couple of links to a couple of our clients who haven't been able to find them. So Gail, I need to find your link. Search, copy, and link. Okay, so it's 1:59. And there's 93 people on. We have 400 and some odd number registered.
That's actually a good amount of people for it, because usually you have a percentage.
Yeah, that are going to show up, and a lot of them register just so they can actually have the video sent off to them later on as well. We're going to stream it onto our Facebook page as well. So looks like there's stuff popping. I'm going to mute my phone here, and total silence. Done. Okay, so we might as well begin. It's 1:59. So I will, introducing Beverly. For those of you that don't know who Beverly is, Beverly has been working in real estate for quite some time. She's got an incredible handle on, working and qualifying internet leads specifically. I found out about Beverly through a couple of our clients, and in fact, she did these live webinars or live Facebook feeds where she dialed leads off of Facebook, and I saw her video, and I absolutely fell in love with her entire process, what she does, um, how she talks to the leads, how she qualifies them, and everything else. So It was a pleasure to be able to bring her on today for us, where she's going to go through our CRM and teach them some stuff on how to actually properly set up tags, or at least try to follow her system in terms of how she does it. And then we're going to jump onto some live calls. We're going to do some live calls on one of our accounts. And just so you all know, one of the other things that we're setting up is we want to have Beverly come back to us once every or twice a month. We're going to have her come back twice a month for us, and then do one of these live webinars where she does some live lead calling. And you guys are going to hear her today. You're going to see what she's all about. And before, actually, I should have gone live while I said all of that, so that everybody on Facebook can hear. So I'm going to go live here for a second before
Go ahead.
this is all
It'll
recorded.
take a second for it to connect, but go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to go live on Facebook, and it's loading. So give it a second. All right, so I've got all that. Share on group, Agent Locator clients, go live. And it is loading.
It says live on Facebook.
Awesome. Let's just see. Okay. Okay, I've muted that tab there so that now it is live on Facebook as well, so I can see that, which is great. Hey, there I am. I can see myself. All right. So now that we're live on Facebook, I'm just going to repeat really quick what I said, because I'd love for everybody on Facebook as well. And when people are rewatching this later on, because I know a lot of people will rewatch it again. Beverly is somebody who I found through one of our clients, and in fact, she ended up doing a whole bunch of live Facebook feeds where she actually dials leads live. And I watched a few of her dials, and I absolutely loved and fell in love with how she qualifies leads, what her typical process is, and what she's put together is a general outline of how she likes to follow up with leads. One of the things that she's also going to talk about is her tasks. She doesn't really necessarily follow tasks, as she feels that every lead isn't essentially a task for you to actually call, unless you have a specific time that you're supposed to call a lead, I'm assuming, Bev?
Yep.
Yep. So in general, I just absolutely love how she does it. So today what we're going to do is we're going to listen into what she has to say. She's going to go through an outline of how she sets up her tags, how she sets up her actions of what she does, and then we're going to do some live dialing and hear from her, and we'll go from there. So Beverly, I'm going to put it on to you now. In fact, you want to share your screen if you need to. I can actually stop sharing my screen.
I can.
Let me go to stop sharing my side, and you go ahead and set up yours.
There. Let me click my share computer sound button, see if we can make that happen.
There you go.
To share your Zoom computer audio, please install the Zoom audio device.
Oh, then don't worry about that. So
Yeah,
Max probably works.
Next time we will make this happen.
There you go.
I have to unclick the button now. All right, hang on. Ding ding. There we go. Can you see it?
I can see your screen, definitely, yes.
Awesome. Well, Joe, thank you so much for having me. Gosh, it feels like I've known you forever. And it was really great to play a part of going from your kind of classic CRM to your upgraded CRM, and just watching that whole migration difference, because the filtering that is in there now it's amazing. I was having so much fun these last couple of weeks, really being in there playing, setting up our call filters, and I'm really excited about bringing some just clarity to what we do with our dashboard, as far as how we work it, how we can really be efficient when we're working in our dashboard. So let's just quickly kind of set up some expectations here. And I've totally lost my mouse. There we go.
There you go. Awesome. Now, I had two people pop into my office while we're actually doing this, so they're good now. I'm all set. So I'm all ears, and I'm all ears. And we're gonna follow our messages just for you guys as well. So Bev, we'll follow some of the messages, and if we have a question in the chat room, we'll let you know.
Just stop me.
Exactly.
Oops, I'm totally fine. Yeah, just stop me.
Awesome.
So really, when I really start getting into people's platforms and dashboards. And, this is the common question. What does your platform look like? And the best way for me to describe it is, do you ever go to the store after Black Friday and like all the shelves are disheveled and it just looks like a hurricane hit it? And, then you're like, oh my gosh, there was this one lead that I talked to. Where are they? And how about your overdue tasks? How many of you feel like you're just completely overtasked because you're going to task it because you don't want to forget it, and then you almost end up doing none of them because you don't know where your priorities are?
I've had probably, over the course of the last 7 or 8 years, we've had, I think, 12 salespeople that have actually worked here, and this isn't even specifically for real estate. And I remember when I was setting up the first CRM system, we had their sales guys. They're like, "Oh, it would be awesome to have tasks so we know how to call people back." And then on top of tasks, we had, "Oh, can we set a priority to a task so that I can have more priority tasks and then high priority tasks?" And we got to a point where, I swear to you, we literally had hundreds and hundreds of tasks that were never followed up with because people forget to follow up with tasks.
Well, and the reason being is tasking is one by one by one. You open up the lead, you read it, you complete it, and then you got to reset a new one. And the efficiency piece of it, I want to be able to get in my dashboard, call the people I want to call, and get out and not have to one by one them. The one by ones genuinely should only be the people that really, really qualify for time on your calendar. When that task pops up and you're having dinner with your family, you're like, I gotta excuse myself for 5 minutes because this is my future business. And you know that you're going to be sitting at the settlement table with these people.
Right.
And once we prioritize those tasks, then we know they're worth the one by one. But until that point, yes, that is a, hey, I'll do my reminders tomorrow or next week or next month, and then they end up compiling.
Right. And then you always have to go through that list. And then really a lead is just a lead. And especially internet leads, we all know the quality of internet leads, quality in general. I mean, internet has never been about quality. Internet has always been about quantity. And we're trying to get to that quantity as fast as we possibly can to get to the few that are actually good. And then Beverly has that system in place that is going to help us figure out how do we go through those leads, what questions we ask, what questions do we have to know before we even qualify somebody, whether they're a valid contact instead of just a lead. So.
Well, and it's really thinking about your dashboard as, most people that are in real estate are in it for the long term. You don't just jump in and jump out, sell a few homes, and then you're done. So You've got to look at internet lead generation by, I'm building my pipeline for next month, next year, and the next years to come. So the more leads you have, the more conversations you have, the more organized you are, because internet leads are never going to be loyal to you. They will be convenient. So they're only going to do business with the person that makes it convenient for them, and you happen to be at the right place at the right time. So the more conversations that we have, the more we're positioning ourselves to be at that convenient time for them. So that's really by eliminating your tasks, having the conversations, and positioning your platform to be that agent is really where the money's at. So awesome. Our two goals today is to really drive home the simple fact of we want to decrease the time that we actually are calling leads, connecting with leads, and increase the results. How does that sound? You mean I don't have to spend 3 hours on my dashboard to like convert somebody? No. You just have to know which people that you need to be calling, get in, get out, and call it a day.
Right. Find the ones that are good, through your entire list of people. And if you haven't been able to communicate with somebody, they don't deserve the status in your list that's made contact from your perspective. So you're going through you're trying to make contact with them until you get the answer that you need, and you'll go through those questions that you would ask generally and stuff like that. So awesome.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So also, you have leads that end up becoming inactive. They're searching, and then they just kind of ghost. They're not looking anymore. What activities can we create to bring them active again? And there's a little bit of magic to the systems that we have provided to take the thought process out of who you should be calling. So literally, you jump in your database, you have a system to follow, and it's just click, click, click.
It's a list.
Yep. Yeah, you're just positioning yourself to, I call it get lucky. You want to sit down at a slot machine, plug a few quarters and hit the jackpot.
I love that. It's a great way to look at it. Yeah.
So when you look at priority, what leads are the priority? Well, obviously the new leads coming in that are marked as new, you want to always be calling them. And I say Google leads, that's a whole other training on the anatomy, but a Google lead genuinely is, what do we always hear? They're just looking. Well, yes, they are just looking, and they can just look. So as long as they're called same day, I'm not that you got to call them in the first 5 minutes. But our job is to find out where these leads are in the process. And that's why I love when we say try to contact is that next phase. We take a new lead. As soon as we attempt that phone call, it's then switched to try to contact. And try to contact in my language means we're trying to find out where you are in the process because we just don't know yet. We haven't had enough questions asked because you're not answering the phone. And we can't give up after one phone call. Guys, right. It takes 8 to 12 attempts to get a hold of these people on the phone. And, I just have to say this really quick because this is such a mindset thing. Go back to when you were a child. Almost everybody, well, depending on the age group that we have on here, our kids don't remember a home phone. However, I remember when I had this long cord attached to the wall and it was so overstretched because you have to walk it to another room and close the door and the cord to have privacy. I mean, we ran to the phone when it rang as a kid because the only people that ever rang our phones was somebody you actually wanted to talk to. Well, now we run from our phones because our phones overring. It rings constantly. Yep. Everybody has our number. So it's not that they don't want to talk to you. It's that everybody that rings your phone, because they're in your contact list. If you don't know that number, you already have a negative mindset answering that phone.
Right, exactly.
So the objection is there before you even made the call.
The wall's already up. You got to bring that wall down, right?
So we have to overcome that. So guys, don't be attached to the outcome. Enjoy the process of the potential conversation that you're going to have with somebody that may need your services now or in the future. That's all it is. We're just trying to find out where they are in the process. So try to contact, find out where they are in the process. Make contact. 2 things happen. If I have a conversation with a lead, A, they are getting a task because they qualify for time on my calendar, or B, we are going to place them in what I call on the aisle of the grocery store on a shelf. So that leads us to what exactly does that mean? Well, when you create your shopping list, because you're having dinner tonight and you walk into a grocery store, you know exactly where to go to get your ingredients because you have the overhanging signs. When you go to the shelf, you can see exactly where things are in the aisle, right? You go to salad dressing, you see all the tons of different brands of salad dressing. And then within the salad dressings, there's all different flavors of salad dressings. But it doesn't take long to find the salad dressing you want, throw it in your buggy and move on. Well, let's just say you walk into a store with 5 ingredients and you're limited on time and all the aisles and shelves are empty, completely barren. And you're like, where's the stuff at? And they're like, oh, you can go back in the stock room. There's a bunch of unmarked boxes back there. Feel free to go through all the boxes and you'll find your ingredients. We have it. Well, how long would that take you? And going back to what I was talking about as far as efficiency, do you want to spend all day digging through the boxes, figuring out where the product goes on the shelf? Or do you want to start stocking your shelves with each conversation that you have? So that whenever you want to make a certain recipe, you go right to it. So in essence, we jump into platforms and we are back in the stock room and every conversation we're putting in the aisle and we're putting it on the shelf.
And the longer, just to point out here, so I love the analogy here with respect to utilizing a supermarket like this because, the fact is most agents when they start generating internet leads, they don't properly mark their leads. They make 1 or 2 phone calls. They don't attempt it later.
They trash them.
They trash them as well. Yeah. So and the other thing that happens is, imagine this analogy here with a supermarket is the fact that they continuously get internet leads all the time. So they're just piling stuff in the back, making it even harder for us to find what we really need to find. So This is another reason, guys, why I absolutely love what Bev has put together here, because she allows us to easily organize, and we'll kind of get an idea there when we see the tag list of how she organized her tags. When you speak to a lead, depending on what you say to them, you're going to tag them specifically so you can remember to pull them up later on. So go ahead, Bev. I just wanted to kind of pop into that.
No, but it's true. And I mean, really, we tend to have a difficult time really understanding this process, and it's so simple, but we overthink it because it can't be that simple because we've overcomplicated it for so long. Let's task call number 2 and call number 3 and call number 4, and you've got 100 leads coming in. Not only do you have 100 tasks, but you have 300 tasks because you've just tasked the next 3 phone calls per lead, and
Right.
You're not completing them, you're not resetting them. So all it is it's 3 simple things to remember: your new leads, your try to contact, finding out where they are in the process, and then if you've made contact, do they qualify for a task, or are we going to put them on the shelf of the grocery store? It's really that simple.
Right.
So whenever we think about our leads, the game is, how many conversations can we have so that we can stock our shelves on the grocery store for future communication? So this is basically, when you look at your colors, these are your overhanging signs for your aisle. And everything over here is everything on the shelves of the grocery store. So as you're talking to leads, how many people say just looking? So I have to ask this question, and just play along with me here.
Okay.
You walk into a retail store and I ask you, is there anything I can help you with today? What do you say?
I'm just looking.
Why do we say that?
You want your space, I guess. Yeah.
But we get mad at the leads whenever we call them and they stay there on the other end of the phone, but we do the same thing. So now let me ask you this. If you were to make a purchase today, would it be for business, casual, or a special occasion?
Casual, just shopping for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, what do you do casually when you're not working? Like what's your favorite hobby?
Soccer.
Awesome. You know what? We have some soccer apparel on sale over there in the corner rack. If you have any questions, just give me a holler and let me know.
The only reason I said soccer was because I suck because I have no hobbies. My work is my hobby.
It is mine too. That's the life of an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, this is truly what I love. But I get your idea. Ask the right question. Instead of asking, how can I help you, ask the question to determine that's going to help you actually know or help them answer in a better way rather than saying, I'm just looking.
Yes. Because,
Right.
All right, well, something brought you here today. If I had a crystal ball and the world was perfect and you could make that move, when would you like that move to be made?
I like that.
And that's really because I've got to know where to put you. If I hang up the phone and I don't know where to put you, I don't know how to communicate with you in the future.
Okay, that makes sense.
This really helps drill down the important questions that we have to ask, because there's nothing worse than getting off the phone and going, oh my gosh, I forgot to ask the time frame. Then you're like, do I call him back? I don't want to task him. What do I do? So and it's an art. It is something that you can't just jump on the phone tomorrow and know all the right questions and do it all the right way. But it's being aware every time you make a conversation and you hang up the phone, you ask yourself, what could I have asked differently to have a little bit more information? And when you're aware, that is where it takes your dialing to a different level.
And that's a difference between converting at the very low end of, less than 1% of these leads that come in, and having that ability to convert at a much higher rate, because you're concentrating only on those leads that we actually get more information from. This way right now, you're wasting so much time by calling and talking to people that maybe don't even deserve your time to be called at that time. And you're not concentrating on the ones that do deserve that time, and that's awesome. So the fact that we're going to figure out and learn, what's the opening line, what questions do we ask, and then how do we prioritize these tasks, that's going to be great for us to know.
Yep. Well, and to be able to work them in a mass way, and not have to one by one them. So, I'm sure some people are looking at these going, well, buyer lost, already settled, is an agent out of the area. I don't want those people. Well, all right. So when you go to the grocery store, how often do you go down the pet food aisle at the grocery store? Not many people do. Do you go down the pet food aisle?
I I honestly I don't even shop. My wife does all the shopping, so I'm a horrible person to ask for this. Um, but I
Most
don't.
people do not go down the pet food aisle. However, if your neighbor's dog runs away and it runs to your house and your neighbors are out of town and you need a bag of quick dog food, thank God the grocery store sells it, because you don't
Right.
want to go to a pet store. So all this is, we have to grasp in our brains, we are in the lead gathering industry. The more data we have, the more leads we have, it may not be good for you now, but it could be good for your title company, your mortgage lender, your home inspector, your moving company. You
Right.
are building a database full of good data. You do not trash.
Just
How
mark
many
accordingly.
how many leads did I say that we pulled out of trash out of the website that I'm calling in today?
Was it 700 or so? How much
Yeah,
was it? 700?
that either had a good phone number or a good email that we
Right.
transferred back over. The only thing that goes in a trash bucket is somebody that we cannot communicate with. We've confirmed a bad phone number. We've confirmed a bad email. Okay, see you later. Get out on my active list.
Mhm.
Or they've completely unsubscribed all. They're not my highest and best use of time to be sitting there dialing constantly if they've unsubscribed all. You can
Right.
always go back to the garbage bucket and call your unsubscribes if you choose to. But we don't trash anybody. It's really that simple.
Okay.
So we are going to now jump into, let's go, dun dun dun, the agent locator site.
All
But let
right.
me just pause for a second.
Mhm.
And did we have any questions? Because that panel was blocked.
Panel is blocked. Let me see
The
here.
chat panel or the Q&A panel.
All right. Let me hop on here. Looks like there's some people chatting. Actually, Ria is helping us answer these questions.
Awesome.
Um, all right. I cannot see what people are typing into. I was not connected for me. So let me make sure that everybody can ask questions.
While you do that, I'm going to go find me a charger because I don't need it. I'm at 10%. I don't need my phone.
All
I'm
right.
just
Awesome.
gonna turn it off. I'm going to go in airplane mode.
There you go. All right. So Ria, if you can hear me, I know there's been some questions through going through your chat here. If you want to post those questions to me on Skype, I can let Beverly know what they are. And I do see a couple of them here. How do you get focused enough to organize the giant mess? How do you get focused enough to organize the giant mess?
I specialize in giant messes. I love giant messes. It's really, I think we might have some clarity whenever I kind of go through my filters here a little bit. And, we do have a lot of different statuses here, and the importance of keeping this so simplified, again, not to overthink it. New leads are exactly what they are. We haven't called them yet. Tried to contact, we have either A, we've never spoken to you and we have to find out where you are in the process, or
Right.
B, have you had the leads that you connect with, you actually go out and show them property, and you think they're going to write an offer and they ghost. They're just, we don't know where they are.
Mhm.
Well, we can potentially move those leads back into a call filter, because those are the leads that piss you off whenever they're in your tasks. And that's why we don't do our tasks. Because
Right.
you're like, oh my gosh, Susie, oh, that BITCH, she didn't show up for her appointment. And then you're like, you're shut down, you chase a squirrel, you go to Facebook, and you're done. You don't work your tasks.
Right.
So move them back into a call filter, because if you're calling 25 people and they fall through, you're just ringing through.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, what we're going to actually go through is Beverly's going to kind of show us how she's set up some of these filters that she currently has. For example, BBC3, she has a bunch of different filters set up. They all are defined differently, and she had those definitions inside of the presentation you had, and we're going to email that off to everybody as well, so you guys can see that presentation as well, and you guys can, if you want to set up these filters kind of on your own, you guys are going to be able to do that as well. But we'll kind of show you guys later how to reorganize. Like one of the biggest hassles is reorganizing an existing database, because we've been, so used to not calling these leads properly, and we've been so used to not marketing them properly. So it takes some time for us to actually go through them. But the best thing that you can do for yourself is at least start with the new leads that are coming in, so that you start marketing them properly. And then older leads, as you progressively start to call each of them, give that proper tag, give that proper mark, so you know actually how to get them back into your call list. To some of the guys that are asking questions, why does this CRM look different than mine? You guys are most likely on the old CRM system. We have been in beta for about maybe 6 months or so with the new CRM system. You guys can access this new CRM system as well. If you join our Agent Locator clients Facebook group, we can guide you through that. And also, you can actually email Rhea, that's RHEA, at agentlocator.ca, and then she can also send instructions to you guys on how to get to that new CRM system.
And you will be in love. I
Yes.
love it.
We're going to showcase some of that functionality here. So Beverly has kind of been utilizing it. So we're going to showcase some of that functionality as well, so you guys can see what are all the new cool things that you can do with it. So
I'm just going to tell you what time it is. We're not going to get into how the watch works today. Just for sake of times, I do want to get some live calls in.
Okay.
Hopefully we can make some connections. But when we talked about the new leads, the tried to contact and the contacted, that's really what we have. We have the new and the tried to contact. And whoever it was that asked about how do we clean up our mess, well, it's understanding, if you have thousands of leads, who the heck is the priority? Well, hello, the priority are the leads that are actively looking that you have not spoke to in some time. So let's just think about when a lead comes in. I have a dashboard, this is no kidding, 24,000 leads. Unfortunately, wow. Agents are not actively dialing. So we have an excessive amount of people. But when you think about people that registered 4, 5, 6 years ago, and they're active and you haven't had a conversation for 2 years,
right.
That's your gold. I mean, that's like walking into a casino, watching somebody play a slot machine for hours and not hit. Baby, I'm sitting down. I'm placing my bets at that slot machine because it's hot, right? So when you have the longer the lead has been registered, the longer it's been since the conversation, and they're active an hour ago, and putting these filters together, it is really mind-blowing to be able to see where the gold is in the dashboard very, very quickly. And the way these filters are developed, you don't have to think about it. You will never lose those people again, right? Because they're dynamic filters. As soon as that inactive lead becomes active, they're automatically going to fall into your filter.
Right, they're going to your list right off the bat, so you don't even have to think about it. You don't even have to. It's just automatically there based on their activity, based on what they do, and it's just that's your typical call list, and you know who you're calling. So that's awesome. And I know that just for the sake of having some of these calls, I know that for the last day or so on this account, we haven't actually made calls to some of the new leads. So you're going to have some new leads for you to dial as well there.
Well, they're moved independent or into the tried to contact. There's nothing in the new.
Yeah, what happens with our system is when as soon as a lead comes in, because our SMS system tries to contact them, it does go into try to contact because the SMS. So they're going to be in the try to contact with 0 phone calls.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we might need to max it to tweak that filter.
Yeah, you can actually tweak that filter here. So if you want to tweak that other one, if you go back to your first one there.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you want to, in there, you can say pipeline is, just also add try to contact.
So add try to contact?
No, what you do is here, let me do it for you. Yep. Awesome.
Take the mouse.
Perfect. All right, so we're just going to add the try to contact as well. And then we're going to say, we're going to count these number of phone calls is equal to 0.
I love it.
That way we know they just received an SMS. And we're going to update that filter. Let's update it. Well, there's 332 leads that have actually never received a phone call in this account.
Wow, they've been actively dialing in this platform. So I want to take this a minute to really drive this piece home, because I see it happen often. Sometimes agents are not using the platform to dial through, or they're not making it a call note. It is imperative to make it a call note for these filters to actually work properly, just like you just saw.
Right,
So
and that means just marking that if you've made it before we didn't have a dialer built into the CRM system, and while there's a very good chance that these leads, a lot of these older leads have been called, but they've never actually gone in and specified they've made a call. So I think some of the top leads there, we've had a lead there come in 51 minutes ago. There's been a lead there an hour ago, or a couple leads for an hour ago. So we've got some leads that we can definitely try out.
Absolutely. Oh, trust me, there's plenty of leads in here that we can dial. So these are all the new that haven't had that phone call yet. Well, what's the next priority? And when do we call them back again? What do we do? So honestly, they stay in the priority 2, which Balanced Business Consulting, the name of my company. They stay in that second filter for 14 days. So when I click on here, these are all the leads that registered the last 14 days. So this filter may need to be tweaked a little bit as well, because this one would actually have a dial to it. Again, for sake of time, we can move it, but we call them every day. Now, when I say every day, Saturdays and Sundays, maybe not so much, but they will get 10 dials within a 14-day time frame.
Okay.
And
so what you can do with that filter, sorry to interrupt you there, what we can do there is we can say was not contacted, and we can say by phone, and then we can say today. Because if we're trying to call these leads every day for 14 days, that's going to show there's 47, so one fell out. I'm going to update this filter really quick. So if that's our call list every day, that's a list of people we got to get through the last 14 days of people who've been trying to contact on a daily basis. That's our full list. And then as soon as you make a call on this one, sorry to cut you off there again, but as soon as you make a call on this one, they get out of this list, and you guys will notice that when we actually start calling these, they're gonna disappear from this list.
And how they disappear is these are all tried to contact. And that's why it's a game. And I had calling leads is not fun, guys. Who likes to do it? I do, because I'm a little crazy, but I mean, my game is I got 47 leads in here. I want to get it down to 30 something, and in my agents, we used to have a game like I got 2 out. Well, I got 5 out. Well, I got 7 out. The more conversations you're having, guess what? The less leads you have to call hello.
Yep.
So that's the game. Have the conversation, move them to the shelf at the grocery store for mass communication follow-up in a future way. And you're always process of eliminating your call filter. So yes, they're going to fall out of here 2 different ways. Day 15, because they're going to fall out because we only call them the 14 days. Or we're moving them to a different stage. And that next stage is made contact, or that we've actually set up that meeting. So if we get a hold of old M. Dobson, we move him, he's going to fall out. We'll be down to 46. Yes. It's simple as that. The next priority filter. Now, I did set it up also to make this just a call filter. So this is all verified. Well, we have not detected bad phone numbers yet. So as soon as you move somebody to a bad phone number status, it will also fall out. So this is just your call filter.
Right.
The next priority, the third priority, these are all the leads that registered. So remember when we said 14 days, they fall out on day 15? They're going to fall into here. If I called you the last 14 days 10 times and you didn't answer the phone, I'm not calling you every day, not my highest and best use of time. So we're going to move it to once a week. But the other beauty of this filter is everybody in your dashboard that is actively looking in the last 30 days automatically falls into this filter.
I like that. So then what ends up happening here is that if a lead, let's say, you try to contact them a bunch of times, they've never answered, and they were inactive for some time, and if they all of a sudden become active again, let's say even 6 months later, they become active again, they start looking on your website, because we constantly send them listings from your website, they're going to pop into your list here, and they're going to be automatically on your list without you even having to think about it.
Yes, because you're going to sort it. This is the beauty. I love it. Last contact. Dun, dun. Last contact call. Show most recent
Sure.
last.
So there's a couple of another filter maybe you can do. You can do activity. So you can say, you can sort by activity. Give me the most recently active first. So if you're dialing through your list, maybe you want to dial somebody who's just active not too long ago.
Mhm.
That's a sort as well. So if you click on the activity sort,
Oops, sorry.
yeah, it's okay, up at the top, and say last activity, most recent first. That's the one. You click on sort. So that's going to show us, if you go back to the first page there for a sec, you're in the third one. Yep. So now this list is everybody who's fallen out of our first one, and they this lead there was active 12 minutes ago. That lead below that was active an hour ago. Lead below that 1 hour ago as well. So these are leads that are older than 15 days, and they've been active very recently, and that we haven't actually reached out. We haven't been able to make contact with them yet.
Well, and that's what's so fun. So whoever asked about how to clean up your mess, this is where you start. Because you can literally, the older your dashboard, look, this one was 10 months ago, and they were just in 4 minutes ago. And
Right.
no phone calls.
Right.
So this is how you increase. And so explain the second opportunity. What did I do the other day?
So when Bev actually popped into this account, there was a lot of deleted leads. There was a lot of leads that were sent to trash, and the scenario there would have been, if the phone number was wrong at all, they were sent onto trash. But what we want to do is we want to take those leads out of trash because we want them to actually get listings. If you send them to trash, they're not going to be receiving listings. But we truly need to actually keep them on our system because they're going to keep getting listings, and there's a very good chance they're going to come back to the website and actually keep browsing.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are truly your highest priority leads, the ones that have been incubated for a while and have just gone through and they're still actively looking and we haven't had a conversation. Because people are actively looking for a reason for the most part.
Right, and when we generally think about the the general nature of internet leads is the fact that most of these people that they're just thinking about the buying process, just started thinking about buying a home or where they want to live, and they jumped online looking for properties in that area, and they came onto your website through our Google advertisements, and they're hopping onto your site and starting to browse listings. But remember that they're probably 6 to 8 to a year away from buying, so we definitely want to keep them on those listings, even if they've provided a bad phone number. We want to keep them on listings because there's a good chance they actually might contact you, and it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't. There's no
You
cost.
already paid for the lead.
Right. Right.
Keep it. And here's the reality. It is easier. Let's think about our own shopping habits, online shopping habits. It is much easier to Google search, fall into a new website than it is to go back to your email, remember which site you were on, because most people don't bookmark. So once you find out where they are in the process, or once you've brought this lead in, after you find out where they are in the process, keep them.
Right.
Keep them. And all these leads, why there's so many people in here is because there hasn't been any conversations. And if there has, they haven't moved them to the right stage to park them on the shelf.
And that's that cleaning aspect of it. That's that are going back. Now, I just want to point out one thing that there's been quite a few agents that have come on to me and said, and this is a mentality thing. This is even some coaches are like this. They're saying to them, do not send anybody listings until they've signed a BRA or until you've signed with them or until you sat down with them. My general thought procedure there is, I think it used to work back in the day when listings were not widely accessible online, that you can utilize that as a way for you to not actually do, or not send them stuff, and that's your bait. Your bait essentially is to send them listings. That's no longer the case, because listings have become so widely accessible online that if you don't send them these listings, somebody else will, and they're going to access them.
Or
So
they're just going to re-Google it again. And
exactly.
They're going to fall into the competitions. Yes.
Exactly. So by you actually not sending them listings, you're essentially telling them go to the competitors and find them, because they're not going to wait for you. They're not going to want to, if they're not looking to speak to you at this very moment, keep sending them listings. Do not stop sending listings. That's something that you should definitely keep going.
That's the value. And people say, Bev, your anti-drip campaign. I'm like, no, if I've never talked to somebody, They don't want educated. Just give them what they initially came online looking for. Keep sending them the properties. Yeah, all you have is a general idea of what they're looking for, but you have a way better chance of communicating with them. We call leads that are years old in resort locations. And I called one the other day, 900 and some days she's been actively looking, and never had a phone call with the agent. And when I told her what website we were calling, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. So, you're branding yourself with every email that goes out, and your active people that have been active for a long time know exactly who you are.
Right. Okay. Awesome.
Let's just make a couple in here.
All right. I'm going to mute myself.
Reached 90558.
So it's an automated number. What do I do when I make my first initial call? And this is so important to remember, and don't be hating on my spelling because I type really fast. When we make the very first initial dial, there's so much information that we can actually gain from the call. We can look at the name, and we can maybe get a name from the email address, because some people's email addresses are their names. And sometimes people come in with their first initial that we can, so say this was N Griffiths, we could see N for Nancy. Guys, change the profile. Make sure you go in and put their name on there, because when emails go out, it will go out if they come in with their email address, or they come in with even a lowercase, change it to an uppercase.
Right.
That little stuff makes such a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And then once you make that note there, if you click on save and close, that actually saves that note. Yep. And it marks the call and everything else. One other thing, do you want to dial these, or do you want to dial some of the new leads that came in?
We can dial the new leads. Whatever everybody wants to see. It matters.
I think anything really. It's the new ones. The new ones are there. They came in just not too long ago.
So let's just go ahead over to the BBC one. So even whenever you're calling a lead, like this one, M. Dobson, unfortunately, we don't have a name on there, but you might be calling a lead, let's see, Pauline, but you get the voicemail that says, hey, you've reached John's cell phone. Make a note on there, because then the next time you dial it, you actually have the note to say, hey, John.
Right.
So we'll
start clicking. Let's actually click into M. Dotson for a second. Let's see if there's another thing that, okay, so this lead registered with an email. We don't have the Facebook. Sometimes we have the Facebook profile right there, so we can actually utilize it. And then another thing here, we can actually see what she looked at. So it's great for our phone call when we have. We can see she's looking at properties in Oakville, which is right. And there, what's at 1.2 million is the price range there. So awesome.
Chump change.
Yeah.
But I do not leave voicemails. I let everything go the whole way too. Now that one's a fast busy. I don't mark a fast busy bad until after 3 times.
Okay.
Because sometimes, give or take location, cell phones will give you a busy tone once in a while. So I don't like to, and what did I just do? I just totally closed that out. And didn't even make it a note within the system. But that's okay, because we can recover over here. And this is why you want to make it a call note, so it shows on your dashboard and it works your filters properly. So we can save that.
So this is actually, guys, just so we kind of, you can jump onto the next lead right away there. You have to select, actually, hang on, what was that? I'm going to select the call result, right?
You have to call us that, right?
Lead was actually specified there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that one.
Called no message left. Yeah, perfect. One of the things that Bev knows is even these ringtones. Depending on how the ringtones happen, we already know whether we might have a wrong number completely and stuff like that. So this is awesome for her. Like, some phone numbers just keep ringing and ringing and ringing, and she, by listening to what she's telling us here, I think it's gonna, give us a lot of clarity.
Yeah, third-party dialers usually do not detect a bad phone number. So if it doesn't connect to a voicemail, or it just disconnects quickly, we do a manual dial just to confirm. Because if 30% of your numbers are going to be bad and you're calling 100 people, I don't want to be wasting, it's about 23 seconds for 4 dials. So 23 seconds times 30, if they're falling through my dialer, is just a heck of a long of a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hi there, this is Beverly. Just doing a quick check-in. I saw you were online looking at some properties in the Oakville area. Just wondering if do you have any future plans?
Not right this minute. I'm just curious what's available.
Just curious. Well, if you were to make that move, when do you think it might be in the future?
Or it won't be for a while.
And so in a while, what would be the reason for the move?
Just downsizing.
Downsizing. Awesome. Would it be retirement? Do you have children moving on?
No, we're already retired.
So what's stopping you from making a move now?
There's too much going on in my life right now.
Yeah, moving's not fun. Who wants to think about boxing up stuff, right?
Yeah.
How long have you been where you are?
9 years.
Okay, so you have 9 years of stuff accumulated, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Awesome. So in the future, just so that, we can just keep in touch casually and be sending you some property listings, I have an email as cjo1267@gmail.com.
Correct.
And as far as, is it just the Oakville area that you're paying attention to?
Yes. Yeah.
And now you say downsizing, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, and like what size lot?
Has to be at least 2.
Okay.
And maybe 3. We're just thinking. We just started thinking about
Well, isn't it wonderful that you can go online and really get an idea of what's happening with the market?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, this is all we're going to do. I promise we're not going to blow up your phone. We just want to be a convenience to you when that time's right for you. So a lot of times the emails that we're sending with the updates, they do like to go to spam. So just want you to be, kind of aware of that, to check your spam.
Okay.
And so I have C. O'Neill, but I don't know what your actual name is.
It's Christine.
Christine with a C, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
All right. Christine, thank you so much for your time. And we'll just do a follow-up in a few weeks, making sure you're getting emails if we need to change anything that you're receiving or whatnot, okay?
Okay. Thank you for calling.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Did you notice what I did not do?
Push.
No, she has no idea who I am, what website I've called from, what the company is. Do you think she remembers my name?
No.
Does any of that matter?
No, and we extracted so much information. The fact that she's just divulging information it's incredible to me.
And she has no idea who I am.
Yeah.
I should have asked for a social security number. And I say that all the time. People, you cannot be afraid of having conversations because people genuinely are usually, and test it. All right. Do you have Buckle up there? The store Buckle?
Well, you want to click on Save and Continue. Buckle store. Do we have Buckle store? I don't go to stores, Bev. I swear to you. Just click on Save and Continue there.
I'm not done yet. I got to tweak my notes just a wee bit.
Okay, I just don't want you to close it off because it's not going to mark it. Okay.
You walk into Buckle and they're like, "Oh my God, I love your outfit." And then you're like walking around and like, "What's your name?" "That's Beverly." "Awesome. Well, I'm so-and-so." And then you're walking around. They're bringing clothes up to you based on what you're already wearing. Now, this would look great on you. Can I get you fitting room started? You're like, "Nah." Then they bring you up something else. And then you're like, "Yeah." And then they start putting the accessories and start putting things with it. And you can't help it but to walk out of there, $1,000 later. And that's all I just did. We know exactly what's going on. Now, what I don't know is, I don't know where to put her. Yeah, she's just looking. But the most important thing now, whenever I said, we have to keep them now that we've got them, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want her to Google and go into a competitor's dashboard. I want to keep her. Right. This is what we call monitor activity. So now that we have all of her information, and I can't even spell to save my life.
It's okay. You don't have to spell it properly. We do have a few questions from people that I'd love to ask and get your opinion on. So do you generally not tell people who you are, or do you, because one of the questions here is, doesn't RICO not mandate that we have to disclose that we're realtors?
So all I did they were online, they were searching, they gave their information, and I mean, yep, here's my information.
Right.
So all I'm doing, yes, I'm not a realtor in Canada, but did I ask her anything housing related?
Right. Right.
I
And
didn't.
I think their general question is when they're calling. I don't think in this instance, honestly, guys, like in this instance, we're doing this so we can actually show you guys how this stuff works. But when you guys are calling, and you know, the question is, should I say that I'm a realtor when I'm calling? So if I'm a realtor in the Ontario area, do I have to say that I'm a realtor that I'm calling, or do you think that could be something that we don't necessarily have to say? Or what's your opinion about that in general?
My opinion about that is I don't care if you're the pool boy, the lawn man, the plumber, the lender, it doesn't matter. All our job is to find out where they are in the process and when they're going to be needing our services in the future. Period.
Right.
End of story. That's all we got to ask.
Right. Okay.
Because nothing else matters. And they don't care. And honestly, if I get into, I was Keller Williams, Wine Trail Homes, your Northern VA home searcher. That is a freaking mouthful. You create your own objection because
Right.
then they're trying to figure out which emails they've been receiving. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because I know I'm going to be the one that's following up. I don't care that she doesn't know where I just called from.
Okay.
Because in a couple of weeks, when she gets a follow-up, because she may not be opening up her emails, it's just a, hey, Christine, because you know what? She's logging into everyone else's dashboard as C. O'Neill, and I will bet you nobody else gets her first name.
Right. Yep.
We're already a step above the competition.
Okay.
So honestly, it doesn't matter who you are that's calling. And what really led me to really, really drive that home is we call nationally. I mean, we are calling leads everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know the markets that well. We don't want them to know who we are because we're not the agent.
Right.
So yes, it does not matter. So we're going to go ahead and save and continue.
Awesome.
And I am going to tag her with monitor activity.
Okay.
And this can be fun.
So
I put a wonderful request in.
to sort these, yes, and we're going to get them sorted. Just to give you a quick way that you can find, yeah, there it is.
I found it.
Awesome. And we're going to sort these so you can make it a lot easier to find when we have a lot of tags. Awesome.
So what happens, we just detasked a lead that is not a high priority, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now when we have conversations like this that are in monitor activity, we can look at in the dashboard like we were just looking. We're like, oh, last phone call. You don't want them to go past about 14 days without logging in because you want them to remember you. And it's like, hey, Christine, right? So I do want to
there you can just edit the name without actually, it saves automatically as soon as you edit. Yeah.
There we go.
And as soon as you jump out of that, it just flashes twice. There you go.
Perfect. So when we have, let's say, 25 leads in monitor activity, we can just look at the dashboard, look when the last phone call was, look when their last activity was. If it's over 14 days, make a phone call.
Right.
We don't have to open it up and read the task. We detask.
And then we can see some of the notes that we've done with the calls. So we can know what, and as soon as you read some of the notes you've done, you're going to recall that conversation you've had in your head, and you're going to remember who that person was as well.
And it records.
Yeah, and then you can play that recording right back. So awesome.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. All right, let's make one more.
All right.
Here's 2.9. Oh, this was in trash. No, there's no other. No. Oh, this is one of those funky ones. It's a bad number. The system's smart.
Yeah, it's a bad number on this one, so we can probably just move on to the next one, or mark it as invalid yet.
Yep, and it's an invalid. So, yay, we cannot communicate with this lead. What can we do with them?
Yeah, the email here is bad, and this is a garbage lead in that case. So that's a great way to get rid of them off of your list.
But when it was originally in trash, we didn't know because it wasn't marked properly.
Yep. All right, so here's a lead. It's active, quite active. They were active 4 hours ago. 196 properties looked at, registered 337 days ago.
And I don't think I popped in the right category. I didn't do my drop down. A lot of moving parts when you do this live.
Mm-hmm.
This lead was in trash also.
Aaron, yes, we'll send out the PowerPoint presentation that shows the tags and stuff like that, so you guys
The
can.
customer you are calling is unavailable at the moment. Please try again.
There's my wonderful spelling. There we go. So I do, because I am super excited, especially about our conversation this morning, Ado. I hope everybody took something away as far as just really trying to simplify their dashboard.
Yeah.
Are there any questions before I kind of like spill the beans on what we're offering?
Yeah, we've had a few questions in regard to just how Rico works, you know, and we'll answer those questions for you guys. You know, honestly, if you want to disclose that you were the agent calling, you can do that and figure out what's, you know, the idea there is just to figure out the quickest way for you to say what you have to say legally, so that you're covered from the legal aspect of it, because you don't want to create confusion and create negativity immediately on the first phone call that you're doing with these people. So that's the downside, kind of. You know, you want to try to make it as quick as possible to get out what you want it to say. And then, you know, a couple of things, what we're going to do is Beverly, you know, Beverly runs her own company. She has Balanced Business Consulting. She does this stuff. She trains, you know, ISAs all the time. So if you guys have ISAs that you want to train on a more deeper level, Beverly has an offer that she's going to show us in terms of, you know, having a VIP consulting services. And honestly, having her train your ISAs, or having her train you specifically on how to do this stuff in more depth, is a lot of benefit. There's a huge benefit to that. So keep that in mind, guys. That you definitely, you know, you're gonna get assistance from her by having access to her from that level. We are going to have her come back on twice a month, just so we can do more of these live calls and do more of these, you know, in our CRM system working leads. And I know
we'll have more of a defined schedule saying, okay, we're going to call the new leads. We're going to call the old leads. Let's call leads that are 2 years old. We will have a schedule on what we're going to be doing whenever we make those calls, and we'll be focused fully on the calls. But I think for today, it was important for them to understand that I don't just jump in here and just randomly call the phone book. Right. There is a method to why I dial the certain leads that I'm dialing.
Yeah. And some of the people are asking, so what services Beverly is selling exactly? So there's a couple of things that Beverly has a VIP program, which she's actually put in a special for us. And you can show that, I think, on the screen here. So go ahead, I'll let you explain that one.
What do we do? What is Balanced Business Consulting? Well, I started my company 2 years ago, really thinking I was going to solve the whole struggle in the industry that the ISA model does work. Well, when I was beta testing and doing training, I realized it wasn't so much the ISA model, it was the dashboards being so incredibly unorganized that the ISA position, they didn't know what to do. They were just in there spinning their wheels.
People throw them in and thinking that they're going to know exactly what they need to do.
Oh, there's gold in here. Just make me appointments. But then you get, I already purchased. And it gets so frustrating. So, you know, yes, we do have ISA services and we do boutique work within people's platforms, but we charge by time. And we can get done in an hour to 2 hours what most ISAs get done in 6 to 8 hours. Right. Because we're very, very efficient with what we're doing when we're in the dashboard. So yes, we do have the calling services. Yes, we do have the, oh my gosh, just organize my hot mess. Help me move everything around. Help me with the leads that we've lost and left behind. But for the most part, most of the consultations that I have, a lot of people can do it themselves. And, you know, I just want to be able to help as many people as I can without breaking the freaking pocketbook. And, you know, just be able to help you call your leads, be able to help you see what is within your own databases. And when we were talking this morning and just really putting these pieces together of what's going to be the best benefit for you all in a very great budgeted way, in our VIP program, we go into a lot of depth of how to work your dashboard, how to work your database. You have access to a lot of the bad phone number campaigns, the new lead campaign, the long-term nurture campaigns. And this way, you are always going to have access to what it is that we're doing.
I want to point out to that for a second. So what Beverly means by that, and actually some of the people are asking, what is the VIP membership program? So Beverly is going to help us out, and we've hired her where she's going to come back to us twice a month, that she's going to do some of these live calls so we can keep doing a bunch of as many as we can, just to hear her live call, hear her objection handling, hear how she actually does what she does. But on top of that, if you want to have an in-depth more information from her VIP membership program, where she's actually discussed as well, having a follow-up campaign for a bad phone number, where the emails that are actually supposed to go out, you have those emails structured, Beverly, as well. Okay, so you can put them into your CRM system and add a lead to a bad number campaign. Those are the things that she offers inside of this VIP membership program. Yeah, go ahead, keep
And
on.
the most exciting thing that we're going to be offering as part of the VIP program is you will have the opportunity for me to dial your leads. So how are we going to do that? We're going to be doing, just for our VIP Agent Locator clients, private dial sessions just like this. And you put in your name, and we will put you on a waiting list, and we will dial your leads for an hour, and we'll be doing that so the bi-weekly, right? We'll do that 2 times a month.
Right. So every once or twice a month, we're going to do that. So then whoever's part of this will have an opportunity. I'm not sure that we're going to be able to get to everybody's leads, but they're going to have an opportunity to have their leads dialed, just so they and then when that happens, also your tags and everything else can be set up as well. But to give you guys an insight in terms of the tags, we will send this actual presentation that Beverly's put together, so you guys can see what the tags are like, and you guys can add them in on your own as well. But other than that, this is a great program to sign up on, where she just provides more in-depth information in terms of how she does the structuring. But we're also going to have her back, every twice a month, where she's going to do the stuff for us and continue to make calls and hear how she does it. So.
Yeah, this is a great way to just stay on top of, and like we were saying today, when you're hearing somebody else make phone calls, it just kind of gets you excited about, well, that's not so bad.
It's not hard, exactly. And then when they hear the conversation, and I remember the fear that I had with calling people, and I don't know whether you've had that fear or not when you first got into this.
Yeah.
You did. You have that fear of people, and they're just people, and if we just ask them the right questions, they're going to answer properly. But if we ask them, imagine, we have this fear inside us to make phone calls, and then the moment you get on that phone call, they can feel that fear right through the phone, and they are going to kill you. They're literally, and it feels like they're going to kill you, but because of the fact that how they're responding to you, because they can feel your negativity on the phone, it just makes it harder. But when we hear Beverly talk, and when we hear her do more of these calls, and it's unfortunate that we're already out of time and she doesn't have any more time to make them, but it's awesome to hear her make the phone calls. And I guarantee you guys, we're going to get a schedule of calls so we can get her back on here again and get her calling as many leads as possible. And I know it's already 3:02, so we're already past our 1 hour mark. But
yeah, and we will send we'll send everything out. It's my website's balancebusinessconsulting.com, and there is a VIP membership link in there, and we're going to give you a coupon code, which is Agent Locator. And I love how the @ symbol's in there. It just kind of sets it apart.
Yeah. So we'll send these links where you guys can see them, and you guys can register for that, and there'll be a coupon code inside of that email, so you guys can see that. And there's been some questions here. Just I gotta answer them with respect to ISA. So ISA, guys, is just an inside sales agent. That the ISA's job in general is just to sit there and qualify internet leads, and generally big teams hire ISAs in small teams, or small individual agents. You are that ISA, so you are the one that's actually doing that work. We just say ISA because we call it an inside sales agent. That's their job. So some of you that didn't know what an ISA was.
And part of that VIP membership is we do have a total conversion blueprint that talks about the value of why every agent needs to have a database, and how to really prioritize that database, and then what to do with it. It's a 3-step. It's a 3-step there's a ton of videos in there
Right.
of
Awesome.
exactly what to do on what I talked through today.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, people learn off of videos, guys, and I know that, this is just so I know actually for our clients as well, when they sign up, this is, they get to choose, they paid annually. There's no like a 3-year contract, and like they pay once, it's a 1-year thing, and okay, awesome. That's just so we can,
None of my services have contracts. I want to earn your business.
awesome. Awesome. All right. Other than that, guys, you've heard just a tad bit of Beverly on the phone, and the fact that we actually got to talk to one person out of 3 phone calls is incredible. So that generally doesn't happen. Does that generally happen, Bev? Is that the norm?
I'm going to say yes, it does because
Okay.
of my mindset. I mean, when I jump into a training, usually the first dial, I get somebody, and all it comes down to is I love having conversations. And people I hear all the time, I don't know why I answered my phone. I don't know why I answered my phone.
Hmm.
There's so much to be said about your attitude
Right.
on the outcome and the results that you get.
Right. Right. Awesome. Awesome. Perfect. Beverly, thank you so much. Just for all of you, we're going to email you this, the webinar recording, so you guys can have it. It's on Facebook as well, on the Agent Locator group. You can replay it when it finishes. We're going to get this copy of Beverly's presentation so we can send it off to you guys. As far as any information about Beverly as well, we'll include inside that email. I know there's some questions, that I've got a client asking, do you offer ISA services? I believe Beverly does offer ISA services. I know that she's also very packed in terms of how many clients she's capable of handling. So, you know, they do an incredible job as far as making phone calls. If you have any questions for Beverly, what is the email address they can actually reach you at, Beverly? Is it Beverly at
balancedbusinessconsulting.com.
So it's
Yep.
just Beverly, and we'll email you that as well, so you guys can have her email. So if you have questions for Beverly specifically, you can ask her by shooting her an email. And she's also a part of our Facebook group. So
That's
on
what I was just
AgentLocator
going to
clients.
say. Yeah,
Yep.
if anybody wants to post questions in there, from the video, we can just keep chat going in there as well. Facebook's actually my best way of communication.
There you go. Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much, Beverly. Again, I really appreciate this. Thank you to all of you that have come, and we look forward to serving you guys for a while to come, and we'll keep coming back at you with more stuff like this.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure.
All right. Bye.
Bye.